right, very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's tag shit.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really.
Oh, Tag Nation, you are in for a good one tonight. NXT Roadblock was free TV, and my goodness, it was good. I am your host, Smileless Scooter Ray, and I'd like to welcome y'all to another episode of NXTAG with your boy, Smileless Scooter Ray. And more on the name much later. But NXT Roadblock, it was their final themed show, their final stop until Stand and Deliver. And with all the puns intended, this show delivered. It opens up. Hold on, let me remove the image so y'all can see. It opens up for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Yep, the TNA Tag Team Championships. The Hardy Boys defend against the NXT Tag Team Champions, Fraxum. And when I tell you the fact that this show started off with this match was something serious. It is still surreal to see the Hardys back at WWE in any capacity, but it's really surreal to just kind of see that they're back on WWE TV as TNA superstars. And it's just a good feeling because we knew the Hardy Boys was just the Hardy Boys. And the fact that, you know, in 2025, we are still seeing Matt and Jeff do it. And they going up against arguably one of the best tag teams in WWE today in Axiom and Nathan Frazier, aka Fraxium. And yeah, this match, fast-paced, hard-hitting. You know, Fraxium, they're going to always give you a good title match. Regardless of how you feel about Axiom and Frazier, they're going to give you a good title match. And this was nothing short. This was solid. This was pretty good. To be honest with you, surprising that they did not want this show to go ahead and be a PLE is crazy. Because this was almost a miniature Worlds Collide. I mean, granted, you had 2 matches out of 5 that featured NXT versus TNA, but it was a miniature Worlds Collide. Like, I do wonder at some point, do they plan on doing a Worlds Collide PLE? You know, a strictly NXT versus TNA situation. But yeah. Back and forth with the moves, back and forth with those signatures, even with the finishers. Unfortunately, it ended with a miscommunication of Frazier hitting Axiom. Then Frazier gets hit with the twist of fate. Then eventually that swanton, and 1, 2, 3. Those Hardy Boys retain their tag team championships. And I'm intrigued to see where Fraxium goes next with all of this. And that's mainly because they've been having a lot of teams vying for them. And this shouldn't definitely knock them off a pedestal per se, because I mean, they lost to the Hardy Boys. Like, it wasn't like they just lost to any old rink-a-dink tag team here. They lost to the Hardys. Like, just to show y'all again, look at this image right now. Fraxium versus Matt and Jeff really just went down, y'all, on free TV. And it's even more special that it's free TV because to watch CW at the base, all you need is an antenna. You don't need to have cable. You don't need to have an app. Antenna. Wow. You watched these 5 matches that took place tonight on free TV. It wasn't even a PLE bars. But yes, the Hardys retain. It's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do with Fraxium versus Stand and Deliver. I wonder if they're going to do like a multi-tag team match. Are they going to have a definitive number 1 contender for Fraxium? It's going to be interesting to see. And I'm kind of wondering with Stand and Deliver, are they going to do some inclusion of TNA and Stand and Deliver? Because arguably this is the biggest show of NXT this year. So I wonder, are they going to have some TNA inclusion and Stand and Deliver? But kudos to Fraxium for going out there, showing up and showing out. But them damn Hardy boys. Them Hardys. In the next match of the night, we have a grudge match between Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez. And they kind of officially said it, that you can't help but to think that maybe this match is going to be a number 1 contenders. Now, this all stemmed from the fact that when Jordan Grace was kind of introducing herself to the NXT people, Roxanne came out and was like, Pusha, nobody cares about you. Pusha. And Jordan Grace decked her in the mouth. Then last week, there was footage backstage where it looks like Roxanne had attacked her. I think it was a chair, because Jordan was on the ground and Roxy was standing over her like, you're going to punch me in the mouth. You're going to catch these chair shots. So it's kind of like that old guard, new guard, because we've seen Roxy in the Rumble. She's now officially the longest woman to last in the Women's Royal Rumble. She was in the Elimination Chamber. It's all but certain Roxy is getting that call up. Now, whether they do it before Mania or after Mania, it's for sure that Roxy is getting called up. And if you disagree, then obviously you not watching and you don't appreciate talent. But this was a good match. It was a solid match. I felt maybe they probably wanted to go a little more harder. Pause. And it would not surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me if this is a one. Well, actually, no. I just thought about it. Roxy beat Jordan last year. Jordan just beat Roxy tonight. So I can see a rubber match situation. I can 1000% see a rubber match. And not only can I see a rubber match, I can see them go ahead and for sure making it a number 1 contendership situation. To where for sure the winner out of Grace and Perez gets the title shot against the winner out of Stephanie versus Julia. 1000%. Because I just realized that they're 1-1 against each other. And that third match is the match I think they gonna really show up and show out. Not saying that it was a bad match, but I feel like they're gonna really just do the damn thing for that number 1 contendership for Stand and Deliver. Because I mean, Roxy is still trying to prove that she is NXT. She is the bar. She is the example. She's the cream of the crop. You know, the cream always rises to the top. I know that was a terrible Macho Man impersonation, but you did good anyway, so just deal with it. Suckers! Gave you a little bit of Booker T on that too. But yeah, Jordan Grace ultimately gets the dub, if you didn't catch on what I was saying. And we'll see what happens. So, doing some catching up, in between the tag team title match and the singles match, there was a segment with Jada Parker. She was back there talking like, yeah, I'm watching this match because I'm eyeing to see who I'm going to take on next. And Mickie James was next to her, and Mickie was like, hey, you got to go out there and just take it. If you feel like this is yours, if you feel like that championship belongs to you, You got to go out there and do the damn thing. And Jada was like, bet. Appreciate it from the legend. Bet. Then we get a segment of the family. It first started off with Luca, Stax, and Rizzo. And Stax is kind of taking blame for Tony D losing. And Tony D eventually comes up and was like, Stax, you don't have to take the blame. You know, it happens. I lost. I accepted the match. It was no force. It was no, this is on you. And then, you know, Stax was like, you ain't got to worry about it, boss, because we already taken care of it. Next week, it's going to be myself, Luca, and Rizzo taking on Brooks, Vance, and Dane. And and Tony D was like, wait. And he was like, nah, we doing this. We doing this. And Tony D was like, you know what? You got it, big dog. You got it. Then we get a segment, because the next match, we get a segment of Over walking backstage. And as he's walking backstage, he passes by the one and only Undertaker. And Undertaker is telling Big Oba, protect your yard. There was other words here and there, but that was pretty much the consensus. Protect your yard. And Oba was like, bet. Then we get a Trick Willie segment, and he's basically talking about Eddie Thorpe wants to see me in the underground. Well, I'm going to beat that ass. I'm going to beat that ass in the underground, because they're going to have their NXT underground match next week. So he's like, I'm going to beat that ass. So that way, Thorpe ain't got to worry about fighting Meat no more, because I'm going to beat that ass. And we getting into it for the NXT Championship. We have the NXT Champion, Big Oba, Big Femi, defending against TNA X Division's champ, Moose. And this was a beefy boy brawl. No bread, no water, just me. And these two big Nigerian Titans was just beating the shit out of each other and tossing each other around like nothing. And my consensus is I am a grown ass man. Both of these men are over 6'5". And the way that they was just hitting and tossing each other around, you would have thought it was just they going against cruiserweights. I'm like, no. Nah, I am a grown man. You ain't about to be just slanging and tossing me around like that. There was even one point in the match where Big Oba almost military pressed Moose up and dumped him over the top ropes. Nah. I can appreciate the false finishes. I can appreciate that, like I said, you had these two just beefy boys brawling, and it was just big, meaty men slapping meat. Shout outs to Big E. Ultimately, the match ended with Moose trying to go for a spear. Oba reverses it. And then eventually Oba catches Moose with that fall from grace. And that's all it took. 1, 2, 3. Big Oba, Big Femi retains his NXT championship. Shocking. There was no shenanigans. There was no system or the quartet of individuals that tacked Oba before. It was just nothing. This was a clean match. There was no ref bumps. There was no nothing. I was actually shocked that they kept this match as clean as they kept it. Especially with the system not showing up and trying to, help Moose out. But yeah, it was straight one-on-one. No shenanigans. And I was shocked. In between that, we get a Zarya and Sol Ruka segment was Zarya was like, hey, last time I trained the way Soul trains. Now Soul is going to train the way I train. And these two women was in one of those break rooms where they just breaking and destroying stuff. Because on next week, Soul Ruka has a Women's United States Championship opportunity against Chelsea Green. Oh, baby. And it happened because in that tag match last week, Soul was the one that pinned Chelsea Green. So let's go. Then we get a segment of Fatal Influence is back there talking with Ava, mainly because Fallon is still trying to get her rematch for the Women's North American Championship. Ricky Saints walks up and Ricky Saints was like, hey, and then JC Jane was like, yeah, Reg Holland is right. You don't belong here. And Ricky is like, I'm getting tired. That's the second person that has told me I don't belong here. And then Ava's looking at him like, and Ava was like, so, and Ricky was like, you know what? I'm going to show people I belong here. How about next week, you go ahead and book that match between me and Reg Holland? And Ava was like, I bet. And in the process, Ethan Page walks up getting ready for his match. He looks at Ricky and was like, yeah, you ain't nothing but an outsider, Ricky. And I can appreciate Vic Joseph was like, that's rich coming from the quote unquote original outsider. But yeah, and like I mentioned, the next match up is that New York City street fight between All Ego Ethan Page and Javon Evans. Because we all know the boy is bouncy. I can appreciate. So it's weird because if you harken back to AEW this past weekend, they had a steel cage match. And then they also had the Hollywood ending, which ended up being basically falls count anywhere, no rules. And you get that duality because you get that really violent, just we throwing everything at each other type matches with the steel cage between Fletcher and Ospreay. And then, like I said, the Hollywood ending between Toni Storm and Mariah May. And then, of course, you know, this past Monday, we got a cage match between Seth Rollins and Punk. And then tonight, we get a street fight between Evans and Page. And it's weird looking at that duality because unless you really want to be that person, you can enjoy all four of these matches for what they were. If you really just like the hyper violence and the more storytelling of things, I can see why you can lean towards the Hollywood ending and, you know, Fletcher versus Ospreay, but that shouldn't diminish that Punk and Rollins gave a damn good cage match. And for this to be NXT, which was never known to be that hyper violent and this and the third, these two gentlemen gave us solid street fight. You know, they stuck to code. Ethan Page had street fight slacks on, but you know, he still had some slacks. While Javon had the street fight jeans. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the styles. I appreciate how it all played out. The ending of the match was actually legit because it started off with Javon putting a chair around Ethan's like mouth neck area, and Ethan reversed, and then Javon reversed his reversal to a cutter onto the chair, and then he picks up the chair again, puts it around Ethan, stood Ethan up, bounced off the ropes, and did a cutter while, you know, Ethan smashed into the chair. And 1, 2, 3, Mr. Bouncy gets his revenge. There was table bumps. There was some pretty solid action. You know, of course, there wasn't no, you know, everybody bleeding from everywhere. It was still pretty solid. It wasn't a, you know, oh, here we go. Yeah, this street fight just to have. No, it was actually a pretty decent and pretty solid street fight. And as soon as Evans got a chance to celebrate, the lights go out and the quartet attacks. One of the members kind of attacked Ethan Page to get him out, But the true target was really Javon, and it was a 4-on-1 beatdown. And after that, that was it. Still a mystery on who these gentlemen technically are. You can't see the quotes, but technically are. We don't know their motives. We don't know their motives. We don't know team name. We don't know anything at this moment. We just know that these 4 gentlemen are just here to destroy. Pretty much, they're just here to destroy. And then we move on, and then we officially get reintroduced / introduced to the Culling. And the Culling is the team name of Sean Spears, Nico Vance, Brooke Jensen, and Izzy Dane. And essentially, after they kind of reintroduced themselves, Spears was saying, hey, I took their gold. Next week, y'all take their heart. And let the Culling begin. So we'll see, because next week, like I said, Nico, Brooks, and Izzy is taking on Rizzo, Stacks, and Luca. So we will see if the Culling will begin. Then we get a segment where Eddie Thorpe was kind of in the crowd, and he was basically talking about how, oh, Trick wants to see me in this underground. I'm undefeated in this underground. He don't want none of this. And you hear the crowd going crazy because Trick is running down the stairway and starts to beat the dog shit out of Eddie Thorpe, and pretty much getting us ready for this underground match come next week. And with everything out the way, we are clearing the lane for the main event. And it is the women's North American champion, Stephanie Vercoeur, versus the NXT women's champion of Julia. And it is title for title. One of these ladies will be making history because they will be champ. Let's go. I appreciate the action in this match. I appreciate that these 2 ladies went out there and had them a pretty solid fight. Once again, you can kind of tell that it was dialed down a little bit. You could tell that if these 2 ladies were really, quote unquote, let loose, they probably would have no short than beat the shit out of each other. But you could tell it was dialed back just a little bit. Not like a lot to where it was like, oh no, this match is boring. No, they was hitting each other with their own signatures. Hell, at one point, even Julia did Stephanie's move with the whole knee thing, and she bangs him into the ground, and Booker does this she even did it to Stephanie at one point. And then, of course, Stephanie had to show her how it's really done. But back and forth action going this whole match. And I appreciate these 2 ladies for going out there once again, showing up and showing out, especially since they know that, oh snap, we are the main event. So we really have to go out there and do the damn thing. And in my opinion, they did. Now, the closing moments of this match saw Stephanie hitting her finisher twice on Julia, and 1, 2, 3, and new NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vercoeur. She is now champ. So now the interesting part about this, where are they moving forward with this title picture? Is it one of those things where Stephanie could potentially relinquish one of the championships? And, kind of like how Keith Lee did when it was Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. And, Keith Lee kept the NXT championship and relinquished the North American championship. Is it one of them type situations? Or are they going to let Stephanie be like, nah, I'll defend them both? I got this, big dog. Because we saw that Fallon wants her North American Championship back. And it's not 100% clear of which belt Jada wants. I wouldn't be surprised that due to the way the scene is looking, they may keep her in the North American side of things. And that's 1,000% fine because I think she deserves that North American Championship. So it would not surprise me that possibly at Stand and Deliver, we could potentially get a multi-woman match for the Women's North American Championship and potentially a multi-woman match for the championship. That maybe Stephanie defends twice. That she's like, nah, I'm gonna do this twice. If she defends against Jordynne Grace, maybe Julia may come around and want her rematch, and it's Jordynne Grace, Julia, and Stephanie for the Women's Championship, and maybe it could be like a Fallon, Jada, and Stephanie for the North American Championship. Like she may have to compete in two different triple threat match type situations, but I don't know. We shall see. Because officially, we are on the road to Stand and Deliver. There are no more roadblocks. There are no more bumps. We are on the road to Stand and Deliver. We are about a good month and like a week away. And oh, baby, WrestleMania weekend is shaping up to be fire. Fire. And of course, on the NXT side of things, your boy Scooter Ray is going to be here to guide and usher in as much as possible because I have a feeling things is going to get interesting. I don't know in what ways yet, because once again, I still wanna see if they may have some TNA inclusion with Stand and Deliver. You know, maybe we might get a Joe Hendry appearance again or something like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see what the build's gonna be for Stand and Deliver because we've already been, of course, seeing the picture with WrestleMania. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what this build is going to look like because maybe Trick defeats Eddie and Trick is like, ayo, over. Let's run it back. You know, I'm pretty sure most of those tag teams are probably going to look at Fraxium and be like, hey, I would not be surprised that they do a multi-team ladder match for the tag team titles. And, you know, could Stephanie be doing double duty? You know, could Stephanie be defending the Women's North American Championship and the NXT Women's Championship in the same night? Because, like they said, no champion has ever defended two titles in one night and walked out with both. Could Stephanie be the first to break that curse? And then what else we have? The Heritage Cup could come into play. Let's see, is that all the titles? I don't see, personally speaking, I don't think I see the Family versus the Culling lasting this long to where we're going to get just Tony D and Sean Spears again at Stand and Deliver. I feel like it's going to be something more. I feel like it's going to be something more when it comes to that. Maybe it could be Ricky Saints versus Spears or something like that. But yeah, I really don't see that this feud lasting another month and it culminates at Stand and Deliver. But we shall see, y'all. Because like I said, starting next week, we are officially on that road to Stand and Deliver. And I am buckled in. I got my gas money ready to just be like, here's my money so y'all can take me along this ride with y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Whether you loved it or hated it, don't forget to rate it thumbs up, thumbs down, preferably the thumbs up. Like, share, comment, subscribe. After you do all of that, make sure you tag that notification bell so you can be notified for all NXT AGs, hot tags, tier lists, and whatever else goes up on the channel. Shout outs to Lip Dizzle, who's current tag in the bank and officially the longest reigning tag predictions champion there is. Yes, with sadness, because he's taking my record from me on Monday, March 17th. Excuse me. See, look, my voice doesn't even want to say it. Lip Dizzle will eclipse my record of the longest running tag prediction champ. And yeah. Shout outs to Jaeger Bombastic, Juggernaut 097, and Kicking It with Leo. And most importantly, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being a vehicle to let me know to keep doing these videos. Even if only 1, 2, or however many people watch it, I'm having fun. Like, I already have fun watching NXT. I get to have fun talking about a brand I love the most. Simple and plain. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of one another, love yourself and love one another. And until the next time, you beautiful, beautiful people out there, do not forget to tag out. You can't see it, but just know I'm getting y'all with that too sweet. Bam. Peace out, everybody.